In the week after, both me and you at the time, we were going to weekly angel calls where there's a lady who channels angels. And she did something I'd never seen her do, and you were part of it, where she basically, her voice changed. And it's almost like it reminded me of, Whoopi Goldberg in that Ghost movie where she just had another entity enter her. It looked like that, where another entity entered her. She had a completely different voice, and she said, "Welcome to Soul Sisters Get Real, the show that goes deep in who we really are and why we are really here."
We're your hosts, Caryn from the States.
And Eleni from Australia.
We've had heartfelt conversations as soul sisters for years, and we're ready to share our truths, stories, and life lessons with you.
And to inspire you to connect to your truest essence, which resides deep within your soul. There'll be tears, there'll be laughter, and there'll be no holding back.
So sit back, relax, and let's get real about the things that truly matter.
Hello, everybody. This is Soul Sisters Get Real. This is Eleni and Caryn. And we're so excited and pumped for today's episode because we're talking all about beautiful angelic beings, our angels that guide us, that are with us, that support us, that have been with us from the day that we have been born into this earth. So tell me, Caryn, tell me how you first sort of knew about your angels right at the very beginning. When did you first connect in with your angels?
Well, it was after Josh, my son, died. And as we know, angels are all over the Bible. We know about the angel Gabriel that came and told Mary that she was pregnant. And so angels, I've always known about angels, but the connecting with our angels, the reaching out to our angels, the knowing we all have a guardian angel, the unemployed angels, like that was all very new to me. And I first started learning about it when Josh, my son from heaven, started contacting me, which, by the way, is only like 4 days from today, the anniversary.
Wow.
So this is the month. It'll be 3 years on Monday.
Wow.
So after Josh had passed away, I was in that what now and where did he go mode. And a few people from our profession, hypnotists and hypnotherapists, started contacting me and offering beautiful, beautiful gifts of service to me. And one of them was Emma Romano, and one of them was Karen Carrera. One of them was Michelle, and all of those we are going to have on here soon. So it's so cool. But Karen Carrera, Karen Paulino, I think is how you say it, Carrera. And one of his is her maiden name. She reached out to me and said, "I would love to gift you a session to connect with angels and your son." And at the time I was like, I'm not sure what that is, but okay, I'll take it. Mm-hmm. And so she did a beautiful session with me. And that was the first time that I ever had felt connection to angels or even thought about it. And then after that, I got her book. So her book was part of I saw the course. So I took her course on being an angel guide, certified angel guide or something like that. And that was the first that I started learning about angels. And now angels are a massive part of my life. They help me every day. I call on them. And I love having all of my angels around me. And part of the course that I took then was, this was a book that she wrote. It's the Everything Guide to Angels, which we all know the Everything Guide, right? Yeah. And so Karen actually wrote the book, The Everything Guide to Angels. And this has been super helpful for me. It's like one of those starter books that talks about how to talk to your angels, how to pray to certain ones, which ones they are. Archangels, and that was how I got started. And then after that, I took a course from Kyle Gray, which many people know. He's like world known, and he has also an certified angel guide course that I took. So that was my start of it, again, after Josh passed away, my son. And how did you start connecting with your angels?
I felt like I always knew I had angels around me because I always felt protected, and events would always happen that were too miraculous for me to explain it any other way. And so I always knew that I had angels around me. But when I went through particularly bad or difficult or challenging times, I would always see numbers. And then it was like, why am I always seeing 1111? Why am I always seeing 444? What do these numbers mean? And then I Googled it and found out it was basically my angels letting me know that they're close by and that I'm supported and that I'm not by myself. And it just gave me so much faith that I'm not alone, and I everything will be okay, no matter how difficult the situation is, no matter how challenging the situation is. So for me, it was, I didn't do any kind of angel course or anything like that, but I was just watching what was going on around me. And then I Googled to find out, well, what does this mean? And then sure enough, it's continued to happen over the years with feathers. So, if I'm going through a really difficult time, there'll be a really big feather that's exactly in my way. Sometimes there's a whole stack of feathers. When my father passed a couple of years ago, feathers were like on my daily path every day, everywhere I went. Was it, you found the same thing with feathers with when Josh passed, Karen?
Yes, and not so much anymore. I mean, I get a lot of signs from him and messages now from Josh. Like we communicate and I can hear him. And so I don't see as many. But yes, after he passed away, there were feathers on rocks on the lake. And like
Mm.
I found a feather that was, it looked like angel wings and it was sitting right on one of the rocks on the lake shore where we live. So yeah, those kind of things. There was definitely a lot of feathers in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me about your first real big angel experience.
I think mine was more gradual. And as I started learning about it, I started reaching out because before that, it's interesting when I hear your story and how you always knew angels were around you and how your spirituality kind of developed slowly as you opened up to it. And mine was like a hit on the head. And
Yeah.
it was, mine was like all of a sudden there was all of this and I started seeking and being so curious about what is going on, like the whole peace thing and just how do I connect and so for me, I think mine was just learning about it. That Kyle Gray course is an online course about how to pray to your angels, how to talk to your angels. Not that there's any right or wrong way, but it's just like gave me more information around it. And I just learned that they're there for us. And now I connect with my angels to, keep my other two boys safe and to help me find things. And, I have my J's. You're going to find this interesting. I have my spirit guide is Jeremiah, which happened to be my son Josh that's in heaven's name that I wanted to name him.
Mhm.
But his dad at the time didn't like the name Jeremiah because he said it reminded him of Jeremiah was a bullfrog and it wasn't tough enough on the wrestling match on the mat,
Okay.
and Josh was tougher. So we didn't name him Jeremiah, but I learned in one of my sessions that my spirit guide is Jeremiah. I have Josh that's watching over me. I know that my guardian's angel's name is Julia. I know that Jesus is always on my right hand side. And I also know that I have a past life as a Genevieve and she loved nature and was an orator. So very interesting. So I call on my J's, which is part of my, spirit team and my guardian angel, Julia. So I think it just developed as I learned more about spirituality and opened up more to it. So
You
love
know
to hear
what's so
your
funny
stories.
about that? I've got to
What?
just say what's funny about that
What?
because the only thing I have in terms of names when I've connected into my spirit guide and said, "What is your name?" My main spirit guide, and the only letter I get is J. And I know
Of course.
that's the only letter that I get. So I haven't got the rest of the name yet. I've only got a J. And then
It'll
you're
come.
telling me about all the J's.
Maybe it's Jay. Maybe it's
Yeah.
nickname Jay, right?
Yeah, could be. Could be.
Interesting. I was just going to ask who your guardian angel was. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, what's your big experience with angels?
Oh, look, my biggest one you were a part of, actually. So, my biggest experience is with Archangel Metatron. So, basically, before a couple of years ago, I didn't even know who Metatron was. Like, I'd never even heard of him because he's not, I knew Raphael, I knew Michael, I knew the ones that were in the Christian teachings, but and my family have had an incredible success, and that's the other reason I forgot to mention. The reason why I'm so comfortable with angels for a very long time is because my family is religious and they're from the Greek Orthodox faith, and angels play a big part. And so we have had miracles happen in our family with my family praying to angels. So particularly, Raphael was an angel that my mum would constantly call in, and miracles would just happen, like incredible miracles. So I guess I grew up with believing in miracles. Like, I've seen miracles. My sister had cancer at the age of 36, and she was told she had 1 year to live because it had progressed too far. She's now 70 years old, and she now has 4 grandchildren, and she has survived all those years. And really, it's been because of her faith and her belief in miracles. And so I've seen miracles. I've literally seen, I'll give you another example. I've seen a lady in Cyprus who she had to have her leg amputated. And in her dreams the night before the operation, Mother Mary came to her space and said, "You won't need your leg amputated, it'll be fine." The next day she woke up, and I've seen this lady when I visited Cyprus. She has a big cross on her leg that Mother Mary put on her leg, and she didn't need anything done. She's perfect, she's fine. And she travels Cyprus and she sort of shares her miracle. So I was always conversant with miracles and angels and archangels, but not Metatron, because Metatron is actually part of he's known in the Jewish faith. And so I'm not conversant with the Jewish faith.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the leader of all angels. He's the head.
Mm-hmm.
He's the head of many domains, and he heads up the angelic realm. And the first time I heard of him was I was following a lady called Amanda Ellis on YouTube. And it's actually Christian who said to me, "You need to listen to this lady, because I don't know what's going on between the two of you, but there's something about her. You need to listen to her." Because on her wall behind her, she had a picture of 3 people. One was George Michael, one was Elvis Presley, and one was Princess Diana. Those 3 people I have felt very close to, and I have cried many tears when all 3 of them passed. And so she had these 3 pictures on her wall, and she was doing a YouTube live, and Christian saw that and went, "You got to listen to her, because, she
Mm-hmm.
loves who you love." And she was creating a pack of cards that were from Archangel Metatron. And I knew I had to order them. I've never had anything to do with cards before. So I had no knowledge about how to use cards. I have gone to people who have pulled cards for me, but didn't know anything about them. But I just knew I had to get them. And they were from England, so they cost quite a bit of money for them to come here to Australia. And it was quite a big box. It wasn't just a little deck. This Metatron card deck box is a large box with a big book in it. And the moment the box arrived, I started crying. And it was like, what is going on? As soon as I started to open this box, like, my body trembled, I was shaking, and it was like, why am I having this reaction when I'm opening this box? And in the actual book, in order to activate the card deck, you have to read a prayer. I could not get the prayer out of my mouth. I was blubbering, I was sobbing. And I knew that there was so much power in this deck, and there was something going on with Metatron. And then in the week after, both me and you at the time, we were going to weekly angel calls where there's a lady from Sydney, Australia, who channels angels.
Mm-hmm.
And I put up my hand, and you were part of the call. This is before we decided to do this.
Yep.
And I said to her, "What is going on with this, with Metatron and me? Why is it that as soon as this card deck arrived, I burst into tears?" And she did something I'd never seen her do, and you were part of it, where she basically, her voice changed. And it's almost like it reminded me of, Whoopi Goldberg in that Ghost movie, where she just had another
Sure.
entity enter her. It looked like that, where
Mhm.
another entity entered her. She had a completely different voice, and she said, "Welcome, my child. We've been waiting for you," or something to that effect. I
I
can't
just got
remember.
chills.
Yeah, and basically, what she said was that it feels really weird for me to say this, but I will say it because it's this show. I've not. This is not something I tell people because it sounds very, very egoic. Um, she said that I am Metatron's apprentice, and so it was like, wow, oh my God. And then I did a special one on one call with her too. And ever since then, I have felt him by my side. I call him in, and my whole body just vibrates. And he gives me the most incredible guidance through the cards. He's really funny. Like, you ask a question, and the card you get is just so funny sometimes when you see the double meaning. So he's hilarious.
I love it. I love it. That's how Josh's card deck is with me. I
Yeah.
wanted to speak into that for a moment because when you say it sounds egoic, here's the thing is that yes, you could be Metatron's apprentice, and it doesn't mean that you're the only one ever that
No,
existed.
there's many.
You just like that's your role in this life, right? And so it's not like you're
Yeah.
saying I'm the only one and no one else can be. It's that is your role here as one of the
Yeah.
maybe hundreds, right?
Yeah, it still
Yeah.
sounds thousands. Like
Yeah,
we've got
thousands.
so many people on earth that, I'm
Mhm,
sure that there would be definitely the lady that created this card deck is 100%, and she
mhm,
also creates sprays that are Metatron sprays, which I use. But I feel it. I feel this affinity with him, and I know that we're connected. I know that he guides me. I know that he supports me. I know that when I lean in too much on him, I get a bit of a nah, you go, you think, you work it out, you meditate. Like, I get this happening between me and him, which is just incredible that I have this relationship with a high dimensional being. And I tell you, the answers that I get from Metatron when I pull those cards are just absolutely always
mhm,
incredible and spot on. And it's
mhm.
such a when I first was told that I was his apprentice, I was like, okay, so what do I do? I'm so excited. What do I do? Tell me what to do. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. And now it's just like, I will be shown the way when it's divine timing.
Yeah,
Slowly, slowly, gently, gently. Not when my ego
always.
mind says, "Let's go, let's do it" on my
Yeah.
timetable. It doesn't work like that.
Always like don't want, right? Surrender, trust, and allow. Yeah. And we're going to be talking in another episode about cards and card decks and
Yeah,
oracle cards, which is newer to me in the last 3 years also and you. So we'll definitely talk about that and how that's been a big part of our lives too. I did want to mention with angels, and I've thought this many times, is God is divine and he is our sovereign one. And why would he not have all these helpers?
of
Right. And I
course.
thought so many times in my life, like many years, even before Josh, my son, passed away, many, many times I thought, well, how does God do it all? How can he hear everything? How can he help everybody? Like, it just feels so like there's so many millions of us. And then, of course, he's got helpers, and that's what our angels are, is they're helpers. They're God's helpers.
And
And
you
they're
know
here
what?
to help.
We're all helpers, though. Like,
Yeah.
every single one of us. Like, this universe is so incredible and so divinely designed that we are each a puzzle piece. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, we are all special. Every single one of us is really special because the puzzle can't be made without you, without me, without you listening, without everybody. And the thing is with angels is that and I call them, and I know you probably do too, I call them for everything. So, as an example, if I'm about to come up to somewhere where I need to park my car and I know it's going to be really busy, I would say, hey, unemployed angels. That's what I call the unemployed angels, the angels that are always looking for some job to do. We need to call upon them. Otherwise, they won't come. So we need to call upon them and
Mhm.
actually say, find me a car spot really
Yeah.
easily. Exactly. And do you know what happens, Karen? That I usually ask for a car spot, say I want it at a particular spot, and I won't get it at the spot that I think I want it, but it will get me in a spot like it's way better than what I imagined, you know,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah,
such
I
a good
love it.
example.
Yeah, that's cool. Just last week our dog was really sick. In fact, she almost died, and my poor son had just gotten home from college, and she was in the emergency room, the vet emergency room a few times, and she was really, really sick. And we weren't sure she was going to live, and I was praying to God and praying to Jesus, and I was holding my hand on her intestine, her belly, her liver area that was really inflamed and bad, and I was connecting with Archangel Raphael, who is one of the angels of healing, and his color is green, and connecting with her. We have no idea what's wrong with her. We still don't know, and you know what? She is healed.
Beautiful.
And I was just like, I'm calling on it all. Come on, Raphael, like just letting him heal her through me. And
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you know what I find, Karen, when I speak to people, especially of the Christian faith, is that when, as an example, if like my sister is unwell, she'll pray for her family, but she won't pray for herself. So I've really had to talk to all of them and say, pray for yourself too. Like, but I pray for my kids. I pray for, that's the whole martyrdom thing in Christianity, like I pray for
mm,
everybody else, but I don't pray for me. Like
mm,
it's okay to ask for help for you.
mm,
Not just for the people you love. It's okay to ask for help for you, and asking for help for everything. Sometimes when a tech thing doesn't work, like I'll just stop for a second, center myself and say, come on, I'm serving my purpose. Come in here and help me here. You know, you know,
mhm.
when I'm doing something particularly challenging or difficult, it's like, I'm serving my purpose. Come on, come and help me. Come in and help
Yeah,
me. So,
love
calling
it.
upon them all the time in the therapy room when I was being a therapist, always calling upon them to
Yeah,
to work through me, and then calling the angels of my clients to work through them, so that we could all do this incredible miraculous, therapy session together.
yeah. Yes, I have this beautiful stone that Josh, my son's girlfriend, gave me, and it's a celestial angel stone that is supposed to help the angels to come through and channel it. And I keep this in my office also and connect with it when I have clients.
Beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
Like I believe in just getting all the assistance and the support that we possibly, because you know what? We're doing the hard yards down here on earth. We're the ones in this human body that's really quite heavy, in terms of the light beings that we are, doing this light work, helping humanity ascend. And we need all the help we can get. And why not? Why not be supported, even with car parks, even with your computer working, even with anything? It just makes such a difference. And if you just close your eyes and you call in your angels, you will feel them.
Yep. Yep. And I have to say, I call on my angels a lot, and I call on Josh too. If it's like a
Mhm.
family matter or something, I'm like, yo, Josh, like I could use some help down here. And
Yeah,
like you said, it works. So yeah,
absolutely.
they're there to help us. They're there to support us, and they want us to. What I know is they want us to ask, and if we don't ask, they can't help us, because just like God says, I'm not going to interfere in your life. It's the same thing with angels. If we don't ask for their support and their help, they're just waiting and they can't intervene.
Yeah, exactly right. So ask for it, feel them, and then they will support us. And like yourself, Karen, I also call on my dad, and he comes in every time I call for him as well. So, but at the end of the day, whether you don't know whether what we're saying is true or not, it helps. It really does help to believe it. But the thing is, you will feel it. You will feel the energy. The energy is very, very powerful when you call it in. And when you center yourself and you still your mind, you call it in, you ask for help, and then just watch the miracles unfold.
Hmm. Yeah. What a beautiful way to end this podcast. Yay.
Beautiful. I loved it. And I'm super excited to meet all those people in upcoming episodes that you talked about that helped you with your journey. And they helped me too. A couple of them helped me as well. So super
Yes.
excited to be speaking to those people. So yeah, everybody, call in your angels and feel the love, feel the support, feel the guidance.
Yeah, for sure. And Karen is the expert in all things angels. And Michelle, that will be on with us, had a near-death experience as a 13-year-old. And I'm sure she'll share some of that with us too, which she's the one that called me shortly after Josh passed away. and said, I don't know you, and if you're interested in listening, I want to tell you how beautiful heaven is. And that was so beautiful. So,
Of
yeah, we
course.
get to
Can't
talk about
wait.
heaven.
Excited.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Big
right.
kisses, big hugs. Thanks for watching. We hope you loved it.
And if you did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
And remember, always connect to your truest essence.
And choose love. We'll see you next time.